Signs of an unintelligent woman, and she never realizes it. Some women come across as confident, assertive, and in control of their lives. They speak with certainty and strongly defend their views, giving the impression of strength. But visible confidence is not always the same as genuine maturity. Behind that exterior, there can be impulsive habits, recurring wrong decisions, and patterns that lead to ongoing frustration. What makes it more concerning is that these behaviors often go unnoticed by the person displaying them. This is why recognizing such patterns matters. It is not about criticizing but about becoming aware. Self-reflection is what makes change possible. Number 1, a constant need for validation. She bases her sense of worth on how much attention she gets. Being noticed, praised, or acknowledged becomes essential for her to feel valued. When that feedback is missing, she quickly feels insecure or overlooked. She may overstate minor situations or reveal too much about herself just to provoke a response. The issue is that attention is not the same as respect. People may pay attention without truly valuing her. When self-worth relies on others' approval, it becomes fragile. As soon as that validation fades, frustration sets in. True confidence is built through consistent actions, not constant exposure. Those who depend on outside approval rarely develop a strong inner foundation. Number 2, acting without considering consequences. Her decisions are driven mainly by emotion. She speaks impulsively, without thinking about how her words affect others. She may spend recklessly, make empty promises, or enter situations without weighing the risks. Even after facing negative outcomes, she tends to repeat the same patterns. There is little pause for reflection or careful thought. Impulse overrides reason. This leads to repeated regret and avoidable conflicts. Real maturity involves patience, emotional discipline, and thoughtful decision-making. Taking time to think before acting helps prevent unnecessary problems. Without self-control, the same challenges continue to surface again and again. Number 3, she does not listen to others' viewpoints. She cuts people off, clings to being right, and seldom reflects on alternative perspectives. She mistakes assertiveness for superiority and equates talking more with being smarter. In reality, wisdom comes from listening carefully. Without listening, there is no learning. Conversations can broaden understanding, but only with openness. When she shuts herself inside her own beliefs, her growth is restricted. This also strains relationships, since people dislike feeling ignored. A lack of listening hinders self-improvement and creates avoidable conflict. Number 4, she always shifts blame onto others. When things go wrong, she immediately looks for someone else to hold responsible. A failed relationship becomes entirely the other person's fault. Financial struggles are blamed on circumstances, family, or the system. She rarely reflects on her own part in the situation. This attitude blocks progress. If everything is external, there is no reason to change internally. Real transformation requires accountability. Although taking responsibility can feel uncomfortable, it is ultimately empowering. Recognizing mistakes makes growth possible. As long as she sees herself only as a victim, she remains trapped in repeating the same negative patterns. Number 5, she keeps company that reinforces unhealthy habits. She gravitates toward people who always agree with her, even when she is wrong, and avoids those who challenge or offer honest feedback. She prefers spaces where she is never questioned. However, the people around us shape how we think and act. Being surrounded by immaturity encourages the same behavior. Growth depends on constructive challenge and accountability. Genuine friends don't just support, they also correct and guide. Avoiding those who push for improvement leads to stagnation, while the right environment encourages personal growth. Number 6, she keeps making the same mistake over time. Different situations arise, but the pattern stays the same: similar relationships, repeated financial issues, and ongoing conflicts. Although she talks about changing, her behavior doesn't change. She rarely takes time to truly examine what went wrong. Without reflection, there's no lesson learned, and without learning, the cycle continues. Mistakes are part of being human, but repeating them out of unawareness shows a lack of growth. Real progress comes from honestly reviewing past actions and identifying what needs to change. Ignoring these lessons only ensures the same problems will return. Number 7. She relies too heavily on others for emotional stability. She constantly looks for reassurance, seeks approval before making choices, and struggles to be on her own. When attention is lacking, she feels neglected or unworthy. This dependence creates tension in relationships and fuels anxiety. True happiness cannot depend entirely on someone else. When it does, even small conflicts feel overwhelming. Emotional independence means managing insecurity and disappointment without falling apart. It involves trusting yourself to handle difficulties. Without that inner strength, life feels uncertain and unstable. Number 8. She responds defensively to criticism. Any form of feedback feels like a personal attack, leading her to react with hostility or denial instead of reflection. She fails to distinguish between being corrected and being rejected. Yet criticism, when approached properly, is a chance to improve. Even flawed feedback can contain useful insight. Ignoring or rejecting it prevents growth. A mature individual listens, evaluates, and uses what is helpful. Arrogance, however, shuts down that process and keeps mistakes repeating longer than necessary. Maturity isn't defined by outward image, praise, or how one appears to others. It is reflected in everyday decisions, personal responsibility, and a willingness to learn from experience. Noticing these patterns isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. Real change begins with honest self-examination.